Hello everyone, welcome to LICD lecture 18A. Today we are going to discuss improved half-wave precision rectifier. So we have seen in the basic half-wave precision rectifier that the op-amp was, entering a saturation region, and for it to come out of the saturation, it will take some finite time. So the improvement which we are looking for in a basic precision rectifier is that op-amp should not enter into saturation region itself. Okay, so since it does not since it will, if it does, it will affect the speed of the circuit. So that means it will slow down your circuit functionality if it enters into saturation. So we are looking for a circuit which will not allow the op amp to enter into saturation region. So here is my improved half wave precision rectifier. Let us look into it into further detail. So we have your V in applied, followed by resistor R1, then connected diode D1 and D2. You have connected in this manner. Diode D1 is connected in the inner loop, and in the outer loop we have resistor R1 connected, followed by resistor RL. So various currents flowing into the circuit are shown as follows. The output of the op amp is marked as VO1, and the output of the circuit is marked as Vout, measured with respect to ground. And these are my two node terminals, that is V plus and V minus. Okay, so let us start. So let's discuss how the circuit works in two cases. So for the first case, we'll consider that the diode D1 is working. Again, we first assume that the diode D1 is conducting. So as the diode D1 is conducting, my inner loop will be complete. Now, let me show it to you over here. So that's how the circuit will look like when the diode D1 is conducting. So my inner loop is complete. At the same time, if the diode D1 conducts, my diode D2 will not conduct. We will observe that a little later. But right now, you consider this for a moment. So for the first case, first point is, as the diode D1 conducts, the inner loop will be complete and the op amp will operate in the linear region. It will not operate in the saturation region. So now let's look into further details. As op amp is operating in the linear region, as per virtual ground concept, V plus is zero actually, right? It's a real ground. V minus also will be zero because V minus will be at virtual ground. Now, what is my VO1? My VO1 will be 0 minus VD on. Now, how 0? VO1 is actually V minus VD on, right? So, VO1 will be 0 minus VD on because V minus is 0, and VO1 will be actually minus of 0.7 volts. Basically, the diode drop will be around 0.7. So the output voltage of the first diode of the first op amp circuit, my this thing op amp over here is VO1, which is around minus 0.7 volts. Now, since output of the op amp V01 is minus 0.7, my diode, even if it is connected, it will never conduct. So hence we say that the diode D2 does not conduct. Now, if the diode D2 does not conduct, we don't have current IR 0, IRL. Basically, no current flows to IRL because again, no current flows into the op amp terminals. So there is no voltage drop across this resistor R2, and there is no current flowing into the RL also. So hence IR2 also is zero. Hence IRL is also zero. Hence, my other sense, there is no current flowing into the resistor RL, there will be no voltage at the output. So hence, Vout will be equal to 0. Okay. Now, in order to check the current part, how the current will flow. So again, a short summary. So when the diode D1 conducts, the diode D2 is off, and the op amp is operating in a linear region with VO1 equal to minus 0.7 volts. So this is the summary. Now let's check the current flow. Yeah, so this is my current part when my D1 is on and D2 is off. So basically current flows to the resistor R1, and the Vin will source the current and flows to resistor R1. Now the same current flows to diode D1 because IR1 will be equal to ID1. Since my current flowing into the open terminal is almost zero, so I minus is zero, and this current will terminate at the output terminal of the op amp. Will not flow through the diode D2 because D2 is off, right? So this is how the circuit will work. Now this case number one, this case which we are discussing, that is diode D1 conducts. This case is only valid when V in greater than 0. Okay, so when V in is negative, let's suppose the V in is negative, it will diode D1 will not conduct only, right? So this is the case when the case one which we have discussed, we have not initially said that V in has to be positive or greater than 0. Now we are claiming that V in has to be greater than 0 for it to work. Okay, if V in is negative, my diode D1 will not conduct only. And also I can also say that if V in is positive, right, if V in is positive or V in is greater than 0, IR1 will be equal to ID1, correct? And this is only possible this is only possible when IR1 will be equal to ID1, which can be positive, because diode current will be positive only when it is flowing from anode to cathode. So this is only possible when V in is greater than 0. So only that case the IR1 will be equal to ID1, which will be positive. So hence in such a situation, my V in has to be greater than 0. That means whenever I have, now this as my input out final waveforms, but we can check for V in greater than 0. As you can see, whenever V in is greater than 0, my output is 0. As you can see over here also, my second cycle, my V in is greater than 0, and again my output is 0. So here a short summary is, whenever D1 conducts, D2 does not conduct. Op-amp is working in the linear region with VO1 given by minus 0.7, and my output voltage is 0. So this is in short the summary. Fine. I hope that any doubts if you have, it's clarified. Now let's go back to the second scenario. Okay, so again let me go back to the circuit. Yeah, so this is my original circuit. So for second scenario, we'll consider that D1 is off. Okay, and D1 is off. It's very evident that D1 will be off only when Vin is less than 0. So in the first case, we have considered D1 is on. So that time Vin was greater than 0. Here in this case, the D1 is off. So here we can safely say that input is less than 0. Correct? So in this case, the diode D2 conducts. So D1 is off, but the diode D2 conducts. We'll see that shortly how, and closes the feedback part. Now the outer loop will be fed back. That means D1 is off, so D1 is gone from the circuit, right? Let me show you the modified circuit for it. Yeah, this is my modified circuit. So over here, as you can see, D2 is D1 is off, so it is gone. So now my feedback loop will be from outer loop, that is R2 and D2. So now D2 conducts, it closes the feedback loop through resistor R2, and again the op-amp will work in the linear region. Why? Because op-amp is not in the out in the open loop configuration. Hence, it cannot be in the saturation region. So whenever Vin is less than 0 or greater than 0, op-amp is operating in the linear region here, as we can see. Okay. Now we will analyze this circuit. Well, by virtual ground concept, we can say that since V plus is 0, V minus will be virtually at 0. So from this circuit, we can also write that, V minus. Now see one thing. Since V is less than 0, I can say that the current flowing through the resistor R2 will be from right to left, because the current will be synced by the source. It's a syncing current. It's taking for itself, because the V is negative, in a negative half direction. Again, the current flowing through the resistor R1 will be from right to left, because it is going into the the current is flowing into the source, because it is negative. So here what we can apply KVL at the output. Yes, so I can write V minus plus IR2 into R2. Why plus? Because current is flowing in the reverse direction, and that will be equal to V out, right? So again I repeat, V minus plus IR2 into R2 minus V out equal to 0. So we can rewrite V out as V minus plus IR2 into R2. Here we are considering that IR2 is equal to IR1. since I minus is equal to 0 because of high input impedance of the op-amp. So again I repeat, IR2 will be equal to IR1. And what is IR1 basically from the diagram? IR1 will be V minus, IR1 is flowing from right to the left. So IR1 will be V minus V in upon R1, correct? Which is equal to IR2 actually. So because IR1 is equal to IR2, so here we can write V minus is 0. So basically IR2 will be 0 minus V in upon R1. So that's what we have substituted over here. So we come back to this equation. Here in this equation again we can substitute V minus as 0. So V out will be equal to 0 plus 0 minus V in upon R1 into R2. So if you open the bracket up, you will get V out is equal to minus R2 upon R1 into V in. And this equation is valid for V in less than 0. And if we consider R1 equal to R2 equal to R, we will get V out is equal to minus R upon R into V in, and hence V out will be equal to minus V in. Now this is valid for V in less than 0, right? So V out will be equal to minus V in. Okay, so that's how my transfer curve will look like. So for V in greater than 0, my output was 0. Now for V in less than 0, my output is given by minus R2 upon R1 into V in. Basically, it will be equal to minus V in if R1 and R2 are same. Okay. Now let us see the current part in this direction. So when the diode D1 is off and D2 is on, the current part will be like this. It will be flowing from the out terminals of the op-amp and followed by going to the diode D1 and R2, which is actually IR2, and the same current will flow through resistor R1, which is IR1, and back to the input supply. So this is how the current part of when V in is less than 0 will look like. Now let us summarize this. Okay, so if we consider in this case, if we consider V in is equal to V out is equal to minus V in by considering R1 is equal to R2, so this formula becomes V out is equal to minus V in for V in less than 0. Now let us summarize this. Let's say our input is 1 volt peak sine wave, as you can see, and we have seen that whenever V in is greater than 0, my output is 0. So your output is 0. And one more thing was there, whenever V in is less than 0, as we have seen over here, when V in is less than 0, my output is at minus V in. So here V in is over here, output will be opposite of that, minus V in, right? So here is my, a half wave rectifier, basically a inverted half rectifier. So these are my input and output waveform versus time. And this is my voltage transfer characteristics, which I have discussed just before. But again, in a minute, I'll discuss. So V in greater than 0, output is 0. And V in is less than 0, my output will be given by minus R2 upon R1 into V in, which can be converted into V out equal to minus V in easily by equating this both by taking the value of R1 and R2 as same. Okay. Now, our analysis of this circuit is over. We have checked the various cases. Now, what we will do is we will go to, before going to reflection spot, let us find out how much is my VO1. Okay. Now, let me go to the original circuit. Okay, so this was my original circuit. Let me again make it to 22. Yeah. So now in both the cases, we have seen that what will be the output when V in is equal to V in was greater than 0, my output was 0, and whenever the V in was less than 0, my output was almost equal to minus V in, right? Now let's find out what's the output of the op amp, right? So we'll find out step by step. So over here, when the D1 was conducting, when V in was greater than 0, virtually I can say that V minus was 0. So we have seen this before that VO1 was holding the value of minus VD1, that is equal to minus 0.7. And whenever V in was less than 0, let us go back to that circuit. Yeah. So over here, V in was less than 0. So what happened? Diode D2 will conduct, and whenever diode D2 will conduct, the VO1 was given by V out plus VD2, VD on 2. So that's what happens over here. In both the cases, the op amp does not enter into saturation, since there is a feedback part available for both Vin greater than 0 and less than 0. So here in this circuit, op-amp always operates in the linear region for entire duration of for entire range of Vin. So that's the big advantage. Op-amp doesn't go into saturation. That's what we want actually. Now let's see the reflection spot. So we'll switch over from this PDF and we'll go to the LT Spice, and we will build a half wave precision rectifier improved version and observe the V out versus time, V in versus time, and V out of VO1 of time. Output of the op-amp in time. And let's observe LT Spice simulation now. Okay, as you can see over here, I will get back to the original circuit. Yeah, this is my original circuit. Let me make it 25%. Yeah, so your circuit in the one node handout, and over here R1 and the same. So here op-amp we have used it as OP07. Diodes are 1 and 4148. So these are two diodes. The resistor R1 and R2 are same 1 kilo, and the op-amp is powered with plus or minus 15 volt supply. Now let us simulate this. We are expected to get a inverted half wave rectifier. So here it is. Now let me go back to the waveforms. Yeah, it is as prediction. When V in is greater than 0, my output is 0. Whenever V in is greater than less than 0, that is V in is negative, my output will be reverse of V in. So that will be here. So these are my waveforms. Let me observe the VTC curve also quickly. So this I will replace it by V in. So this is my VTC curve, as you can observe. Let me give it to full screen. Yeah. So this is my VTC curve as predicted. Okay. And this circuit works well as a half wave precision rectifier. So it will rectify even very small input voltages without any problem. And this circuit will not slow down, because op-amp is not entering at even once. In this scenario, the op-amp is remaining in the linear region for both V in greater than 0 and less than 0. So that's why the circuit is also not so slow. It's fast actually. But op-amp can be slow. The op-amp OP07 can be slow. So that is one limitation. Now let us go back to a one node PDF. Now what we do is I'll give you an exercise. Predict the input output waveforms for the following circuit. So here what we have done is we have reversed the diodes. So D1 and D2 are reversed. So here we can analyze the circuit for two cases. For the first case, D1 is off, and for the second case, D1 is on. So we can figure out the conduction part for both the cases. Now what we will do is we will directly go to LT Spice and simulate the circuit, and then we can come back to our prediction. So I'll give you some time to analyze this circuit. So you can pause the video and observe how will the prediction be of the output. Now in the meanwhile, let me open up that circuit and show it to you. Okay, so here only difference is the diode D1 and D2 are reversed. Let us check the output directly. So here is my V in and here is my output. I hope that if you have analyzed the circuit, your prediction was this. So here in this case, whenever V in is positive, my output will be equal to minus of V in, and whenever my V in is negative, my output is 0. So its transfer curve looks like this. So you have to analyze this circuit to reach over here. So here when V in is less than 0, my output is 0, and whenever V in is positive, my output is given by minus R2 upon R1 into V in. If we consider both the resistance as same, it will be minus of V in. That's what we are doing over here. Here we are considering both the resistance to be same. So R2 and R1 are same. So hence we get V out is equal to minus V in for V in greater than 0. So I think that's it for today. We have analyzed two circuits. One, we have reversed the diodes, and we have analyzed the improved version of precision half wave rectifier, and we have also verified this concept in LT Spice simulation, and we have verified the input output waveforms as well as the VTC curve. So that's it for today. Next time we'll start with full wave precision rectifier using op-amp. Until then, have a good day and thank you.